Okay, class. So this is our next step in prepping your final book cover design. So the last video we went into Illustrator and we saved out our final illustration, making sure that all of our layers were turned off, or turned on, whichever ones we wanted. So hopefully you were able to do that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is I opened up InDesign. Okay, so here we are. If you ever get lost, always check this upper left-hand corner. Okay, this is the program that you're in. And sometimes it's hard to navigate, so it's okay. So I'm going to go and I opened up, going to File, Create New, and this is my new document panel. Okay, so I'm going to select this print option because that's what we're kind of aiming for, even though we're not printing it. But some of your book covers you might actually want to get printed because they look beautiful. So I'm going to go to print and I'm going to go here and I'm going to change the document settings. So it's going to be, so it fits everything. It's going to be 7 inches wide. Our document's going to be 7 inches wide and 10 inches high. Okay, so we make sure that this is in inches. Okay, our orientation will be portrait. You can uncheck facing pages because we really only have one document, one view, right? And all of these defaults should be fine. And after you do that, you're going to hit create. It's going to create this document. I'm zooming out, command minus, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my file. I'm going to save it at the beginning just so it's out of the way. So a good way to save your file is usually put your first initial last name. I'm going to project 1 book cover. Okay. Make sure you know where you're saving it to. I have a folder for my files. You can hit save. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to bring in your illustration from Illustrator. So you're going to go to File, Place, okay, and you're looking for where your final illustration is. So mine was in the same folder. You might have to search for yours, but wherever it is, you're looking for that final EPS and you're going to hit open. Okay. And you will see that I have a little thumbnail of my illustration. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is I'll click and drag. Okay. So this is just my Illustrator file. Okay. It's not sized, so that's okay. I will mention something because sometimes InDesign will show you your Illustrator file pixelated. Okay, it's not something that's broken, it's just a view. Okay, so it's a view option. InDesign wants to show it something to you very fast, so it will show you something low resolution. If that's the case, you can just go to your view menu here and you hit over print preview, okay? And it will sharpen your file, okay? So this is my rough file that was sent. Now I'm going to adjust the picture box so it fits the edges of my page. Okay, so I'm just dragging the corners, and then I'm going to zoom out a little bit, Command minus, and I want to obviously adjust the image. So I'm going to put my mouse kind of over the center, and that will allow me to pick the image itself, and you can tell because it's like a brown key line. Okay, and I click on that, and you can see this is showing my image at 42%. So I'm using my up arrow and down arrow on my keyboard, or if you want, you can type this in, and then to adjust, you're hitting the center, and you're just kind of, I'm clicking with my mouse, but you could do this with your trackpad. Okay. Most likely your illustration is going to be larger than this book page, which is fine. If it fits exactly, wonderful, but it's okay if it goes over. And so I have the Illustrator file. Okay, for me to move things around, I'll hit the center, just kind of reviewing. And the two things that I wanted to add was my illustration credit. So I'm going to get my type tool. Some of you might have already done this in Illustrator, so that's okay. So I'm going to put my book design credit by Charity Ellis, right? And then I'll pick my font. I'll pick the color that I want it to be in. Make it a little bit larger. Actually, I'm gonna change that font. You can pick whatever font you want. So something that could probably go with your theme of your storybook. Hopefully you've got something. So if there's anything else you want to add, like I'm going to also add the author, okay? The author, like the story by. So I actually prepped a file already. So here, kind of like a cooking show. And so I kind of wanted things floating in the soup. Okay, so this is my prepped version. Make sure you save, right? Save constantly. And when you get to how you want your book cover to look, okay, you're going to make sure you save. And we're going to do two things. The first is we're going to go to export the JPEG of this cover, okay? Because we're going to use it and you're going to post it in your discussion, and we're using it for our Photoshop mockup. So once you have everything set, make sure you save your file. You're going to go to File, Export, okay? And make sure you know where you're saving it to. But I'm going to name mine first initial, last name, book design, and I'm actually going to add flat, okay? Because this is the flat version. So you know, it's good. I like putting things in my file names. Okay, so I'm going to put save. For these settings, the 200 resolution should be fine. Like we're going to be posting this in Canvas, so that is fine. And I'm going to hit export. Everything else here, quality high, baseline, RGB, all of this is good. And I'm going to hit export. Okay, so I did that and it doesn't seem like anything happened, but in my file folder, here it is, in my file folder, my flat JPEG is in there. Okay, and I can actually do a little quick look. There it is. This is very exciting. You guys have been working on this for so long. Okay, so I'm going to save. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to package this file. Okay, this is for your submission. You're going to be submitting a package file to me, and all that means is we're going to tell InDesign to collect everything that makes up our file. In real life, this is something that, like when you're going to go to print, they usually ask for a packaged file or a high-res PDF. But in our case, we're going to practice packaging a file. So you've exported your JPEG. Now you're going to go to File. You're going to go to Package. Okay. And so this is my package window. Yours might look a little bit different. That's okay. What we're basically making sure is there's no little warning errors here. And you'll know there's a warning error if there's like a yellow triangle with an exclamation point in it. And if there is something like that, you can kind of look to see, it'll tell you what's wrong. So sometimes it's maybe your image link is missing. So you just have to cancel out of this and relink it. So I can show you that in a different video. But let's say everything is good, right? And you're going to go to package and going back into that folder where all your files are. And I'm going to go, this is the name of the folder. Okay. So I'm going to put my first initial last name, book design, and I'm going to add project one final. All caps. Okay. Just so I know, that's the name of my folder. And I'm going to hit package. So this warning, it's telling you I'm going to collect all the fonts. Do you have the rights to it? And you say yes, because you all have Adobe Creative Cloud and you have the right to use the fonts since you're subscribing. And you hit OK. And that little blip of that window bar, right? It was basically collecting all of the elements in our file. And what that looks like is this. So here's the folder, our packaged folder. And what InDesign did is it collected a copy of our files. It copied a copy of our artwork and all of the fonts that we used in the layout. Okay. And so you have this folder, you're going to select it. You're going to right click, however you right click. On a PC, I'm assuming you can right click with just your mouse as well on the trackpad. But you're going to right click it and then you're going to go to compress and it's going to create a zip folder. Okay, so this is your packaged compressed file. So you're going to be submitting this to me. There's a link in Canvas, and we'll go through that. And I'll show you, it's like a shared Google folder. Okay, so you're going to upload that, and it shouldn't be too big. This is 1.8 megabytes. So your file should be fairly small and manageable. Okay, so it won't take too long to upload at all. But so that is our steps in InDesign, right? So we placed our illustration in there. We exported a JPEG. Okay. Then we packaged our final files. Okay. And so now for the next step, I'm gonna show you how to create in Photoshop a mock-up that looks like a real book. Okay, so hope that helped, and I will see you in the next video. All right.